Good morning. Welcome back to the Higher Grounds podcast. This is your morning minute meditation for this morning. I'd like to call your attention to the book of Joshua, chapter number 3. And there's 17 verses in Joshua, chapter number 3. And if you're familiar with the book of Joshua, you know the theme of the book of Joshua is moving forward. And that is the plan for God's people is for them by faith to move forward and keep moving for the honor and glory of God. Joshua chapter number 3, you'll notice that had traveled from Shittim to Jordan, and they're encamped around Jordan for 3 days. And for 3 days, God is getting them ready to cross over the Jordan into Canaan land. And the Canaan land is the land that God's promised them. 38 years prior, the first generation that came out of the land of Egypt was at this same spot. And by the lack of faith and unbelief, they would not cross over. Now the second generation has come up back to the same place, and what was an obstacle to the first generation was going to be another opportunity to the second. And they'll never get through the river Jordan without faith. And of course, God tells them, said, Ark of the Covenant is going to pass before you, and you're to go after it in verse number 3. And so I want to think about this thought this morning, going after it. And so I want to think of a few things here about going after it. If you go after it 2 times in our text, verse number 5 and verse number 10, God told the nation of Israel if they go after it, God will be among it. And so that thought being said, I want you to think about this. If you go after it, God will get among them. There's 3 things I want to share out of this text this morning. If you're familiar with Joshua chapter number 3, in verse number 4, the first thing you'll notice if you go after it, God will take you places you've never been. He said in verse number 4, said, y'all haven't been here before. These are untrodden paths and unfamiliar paths to the nation of Israel. And so, child of God, if you go after it, God will take you down paths you've never been. Secondly, in verse number 6, God will show you things you've never seen. Here's the nation of Israel encamped around Jordan. God's fixing to dam up the water for 25 miles. And so this is something they've never seen before. So, child of God, if you go after it, He'll take you places you've never been. He'll show you things you've never seen. And thirdly, in verse number 17, He'll give you things you never had. They came through. They didn't go around. They didn't go over. They came through the river Jordan. And God got them to a place He wanted them. So, child of God, if you go after it, God will give you things you never had.